Hey Giants fans, and happy Monday. Welcome back to Giants Latest. It's been a little quiet throughout free agency, so I thought before we fully shift into draft mode, what might be interesting is to go through the state of the New York Giants roster this week. Could potentially go into next week, just depending on how long this takes. I'm not so sure just yet. So what I wanted to do is go through every position on the roster, talk through the players that they have now, and then when we start to talk about draft positions, we could talk about the players and the positions that we like and the positions that need to be filled. So how do they do that in the draft based on the players that they have right now? So we're going to start with offense. I always like to start with the offense. I just kind of think it's a little more fun, you know? So obviously the quarterback position, Russell Wilson is now a free agent. He is welcome to sign elsewhere. He has not gotten a call yet. Will be interesting to see if he does or if he's forced into retirement. I do think that he could get picked up by someone in the summer. Like, God forbid there's an injury anywhere. I mean, the fact that the Chiefs traded for Justin Fields leads me to believe that Russell Wilson could end up as a backup somewhere. So he might be in the NFL for one more year. We'll see what happens. But the Giants have Jackson Dart, of course, on a rookie contract. He has 3 more years left of his contract, and then they can pick up the 5th-year option. So the Giants have to try to do something. They have to try to make a run with him on a rookie contract. That's the benefit of having the quarterback on that. So you can take advantage, spend your money elsewhere before having to put it basically all towards the quarterback position. So I'd love to see them get somewhere with Jackson Dart, but we'll see how that goes. Next up, we have Jameis Winston. When the Giants signed him in 2025, they signed him to a 2-year deal. So he is the Giants' backup quarterback through the 2026 season, and then he will become a free agent next year. So obviously, we'll see how this season goes, but he played a little bit last year. He was great in the 2 games that he played. We almost beat the Packers and the Lions in back-to-back weeks, and we would have beat them if our defense could make it one goddamn stop. Maybe this year will be different. I don't know, but Jameis will be back on the roster, and I think that's a great move, something the Giants was a great signing at the time to sign him to more than 1 year, and it was very cheap. So I love what they did there. I'm happy that Jameis is back. They will bring in another quarterback because you have to have that emergency 3rd quarterback, God forbid. So I'm curious where they go there. I do think they will go for an undrafted free agent or who knows? Maybe they even bring back Russ Wilson on a cheap deal. I don't know if he's going to be on board to be the 3rd quarterback, but at this rate, by the time the summer rolls around, he might not have a choice. But I think they'll go for someone younger, a little bit more mobile, that they think that maybe they could turn into some sort of quarterback that could either be a 3rd string or a backup maybe once Jameis leaves if they don't re-sign him in 2027. So curious to see how the 3rd quarterback situation pans out. I don't think they're going that way in the draft, but I think they'll bring in a UDFA or someone who gets cut come the summer, a younger, cheap option. Again, like they're not bringing in Kirk Cousins to be the 3rd string quarterback. So it'll be interesting. Curious to see if there are any ties to, the Ravens or, even like Michigan, where his brother used to coach. So we'll see how that goes. But as of right now, I like the quarterback room. I think it's in a great spot. Next up, let's talk about the running back room because obviously I think a lot of us feel strongly about this. Now, the Giants right now have 6 running backs on their roster. Obviously, we know who the starting 3 are going to be. It's going to be Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and of course, Cameron Skattebo. Now, Scat should be ready to go for the offseason program, which kicks off on April 6th. So he said he's running. He's, making good progress. So that's great news. And again, when the offseason program starts in April, I think it's like classroom stuff. I don't think they're out and about doing OTAs and doing anything kind of crazy. OTAs don't start until March. So, and then they have rookie mini camp in March and then the full mini camp with everyone in June. So I'm not worried about Scat. I think he's going to be fine and he should be ready to go. So those are going to be our 3 starting running backs. Are you curious who the other 3 are on the roster? I'm sure that you are. Eric Gray. Eric Gray is still on the roster. Now, I think this is an IR situation type of thing. I think it's similar to the Graham Gano thing where, if they cut him, there's some issue with the NFLPA. I do not know this for certain, but to me, it has to be the only possible reason as to why Eric Gray could still be on this roster at this point. Now, they can go into the summer with 90-something players, so if they want to have 6 running backs and Eric Gray is one of them, by all means, go ahead. I just think if you're going to have like a real competition for backup running back or something, I don't know if I would include Eric Gray in that mix, but What do I know? I'm just a podcaster. Next up, they have Dante Miller, who you guys do know that I actually love. Turbo from South Carolina, super, super fast and has great hands out of the backfield. I think he's a pretty good running back, and he also plays on special teams. Unlike Eric Gray, the Giants like to force Eric Gray into the special teams role. It's not for him. It is for Turbo, though. So I'd like to see Turbo have a crack at it this summer. Again, new coaching staff here. So even though he really was a practice squad guy under Dable and Shane, maybe he could end up as the fourth running back on this roster if they don't draft Jeremiah Love. I'm just kidding. They're not drafting Jeremiah Love. But he could have the potential to be the fourth running back on this roster. I think way more so than Eric Gray. Like what? And then. Oh, I counted that wrong. There's only 5. I was going to say 6 seems extreme. There are only 5 running backs, so that's where we're at. So again, we'll wait to see what happens with Eric Gray. Again, I don't think he's making this team, but if he makes it through to the summer, I will be a little surprised. So we've got 5 on the roster, and we'll go from there. Next up, let's talk about the wide receivers, because there are a lot more wide receivers than there are maybe the same as offensive linemen, but there's a hell of a lot on here. Let's run through the list, shall we? Calvin Austin, of course, new signing. I'll go through the heights and weights of these guys too, and ages, because there are so many of them. And sometimes with the wide receiver, like I care more about their height than I do about a running back. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but let's go through it real quick. So Calvin Austin is 5'9", 162 pounds. He's only 26 years old. I did not realize that he was that young. So has the potential, if he has a great year with the Giants, to sign on to a longer term deal. Next up, we have Dalen Cambry, who's 6 foot, 192 pounds, only 24 years old. He was a UDFA for the Giants a couple years ago. He's been on the team for a couple years now, mostly known for special teams. That's where he's really gotten a shot to play. But he's gotten a few reps at wide receiver, has not done anything very exciting, but he's made a couple plays. Next up, we have wide receiver Beau Collins, who is 6'3", 206 pounds and only 23. He was a UDFA for the Giants last year, his first year with the Giants. He had some route running issues and miscommunications with the quarterback, and he was on the field. I believe it was him and Jalen Hyatt during the Saints game that both contributed to interceptions because he ran the wrong route and Jalen Hyatt did the same thing. So these are our wide receivers. Next up, we have Daquan Felton, who was also a UDFA. He is 6'5", 216 pounds, and only 25 years old. He was with the Giants last year. I believe he dealt with quite a few injuries, and I don't think that he actually made it onto the field. He might have gotten elevated from the practice squad, but I'm fairly certain he did not play at all. Again, camp body, I think. Next up, we have Xavier Gibson, who is 5'9", 189 pounds, 25 years old. He's pretty young. He was the guy who was on the Jets, and then the Jets ended up cutting him after he fumbled a return. And I think the opposing team scored right there because of it. So he ended up getting cut. The Giants picked him up, then they cut him, and then they picked him up again, and now he's still on the roster. So he is a special teamer, although not a great one. But we'll see if he is in rotation at all with the special teamers. I doubt it, especially because Harbaugh is such a special teams guy, but you never know. Next up, we have Isaiah Hodgins. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, 27 years old, and has been in the NFL for 5 years. Again, I like Hodgins. He's a bigger bodied wide receiver. He's made some nice catches. He had a seamless transition when he came to the Giants in 2022, and we'll see what he's capable of this season. Next up, everyone's favorite New York Giant wide receiver is, of course, Jalen Hyatt, who is 6 feet tall, 185 pounds, and only 24 years old, and has been with the Giants since he was drafted 4 years ago. I don't know what to make of Jalen Hyatt. Again, when we talk about the fact that Evan Neal and Joshua Zutter are back, I have to assume that Jalen Hyatt is also getting a fresh start with this coaching staff. So do I think he's going to learn enough routes this entire summer to be competitive and useful in a preseason game so much that they want to start him or play him week 1? Probably not. But again, stranger things have happened with this Giants football team. So we'll see how it goes there. Next up, we have Courtney Jackson, who is 5'11", 189 pounds. He's 25. He's been in the NFL for 1 year. I have not heard much about him. I believe that he was an off-season signing. And again, to me, probably screams camp body. Next up, we have Ryan Miller, who's 6'2", 221 pounds, 26 years old. He's been in the NFL for 3 years. Ryan Miller, the Giants signed him last year during the season, although he never ended up playing. And then they decided to bring him back this year. So Again, we'll see what a lot of these guys bring to camp. I'm certain that most of them are not making the roster. They usually only keep between 6 and 7 wide receivers, but someone's going to have to make it. So hopefully it's someone from the draft, but we'll see how things go. Next up, this is our real actual favorite beloved wide receiver for the New York Giants is Malik Nabers, who's 6 feet, 200 pounds. He's only 22 years old. And of course, going into his third year with the Giants, coming off the ACL tear. I'm really curious to see how the summer goes with Malik specifically, but also, is he really going to be healthy and ready to go week 1? And if he's ready to go week 1, are there limitations? Do they hold him back? Does he not play as many snaps? I don't know. Again, this is a new medical staff we're working with. It's a new coaching staff. We don't know if they're going to be like saving their guys or, not playing them right away because of potential injury concerns. Dable was always very conservative with everything. So I don't know if this coaching staff is going to be similar. Time will tell. Next up, we have Gunnar Olszewski, who the Giants brought back on the 1-year deal. Of course, he's 6 feet, 190 pounds, 29 years old, and has actually been in the NFL for 8 years, which I did not realize he had been here for that long. Not with the Giants, but in the NFL as a whole. Again, and 6 feet tall, but he can play the inside and the outside. We have seen him be a good slot receiver for the New York Giants, for Jackson Dart and Jameis Winston. And I'm sure we'll all remember probably one of the favorite, most exciting plays from last year was during the Lions game, the trick play where Gunnar, who used to be a quarterback in high school, I believe, ended up throwing a touchdown pass to Jameis Winston, which now Jameis Winston has more touchdown receptions than Jalen Hyatt does. What a fact, take that to your next dinner party. Anyway, we've got one more wide receiver on this list, and it is, tied for the New York Giants fans' favorite wide receiver. It is none other than, of course, Darius Slayton, who's 6'1", 198 pounds, 29 years old, been in the NFL for 8 years, and of course, been with the Giants for all of them. So, Darius Slayton and Darnell Mooney. Oh, I think I missed Darnell Mooney. Was he on that list? I just exited out of the Giants roster, but we have to add Darnell Mooney to that list. So the Giants have probably at least 10 wide receivers at this rate. The competition is going to be fierce. And when I say it's going to be fierce, I mean it's going to be that between Darnell Mooney and Darius Slayton vying for that starting position opposite Malik Nabers. But I do think the wide receiver battle is going to be fascinating, and I do really believe that they are going to get a wide receiver in this draft at 37, or if they trade back, get more picks, whatever they end up doing. I don't think they'll do it at 5. I really feel convinced they're going defense at 5, but that they will go wide receiver in round 2 or round 3 if they can get a pick there. So that's where we're at. This is where the first start of this offensive team looks like. We'll continue on the offense, talk about offensive line and tight ends next time. So make sure you subscribe for that. And then we're going to deep dive into the defense. So stick around for more. It'll be fun.